Boom, shakalaka boom. You're tuned in to the Free Range Human Show of Choice, your daily dose of reality radio here on the Clay Edwards Show with SHAUN YURTKURAN here in the studio with me this morning. My goodness, to the people that survived a deadly, deadly night in Jackson, Mississippi, good morning to you. Rest in peace to everybody else. I think if you didn't get shot last night, you are in the minority. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Am I getting that right? Yeah, if you did not get shot in Jackson last night, you, in fact, are in the minority. There was two. I mean, I made a video at almost 11 o'clock last night talking about a mass shooting that happened where 6 people got shot over on, what road was it? Palm?
Yeah,
I don't even know where that is. That's got to be in the Savannah Street area. That's the only area where I don't know the names of the roads very good in South Jackson. Had to be in the Savannah Street area or some random road that I'm just not familiar with, maybe over by the hospital over there in South Jackson. But anyway, 6 people shot at one. Don't know the condition of them. I mean, they got gunshot holes in them, so they're obviously not good condition. Let's see here. Then there was a second one last night after I went to bed. I mean, right after, too. Or probably before, but I didn't hear it. I woke up to a notification from a friend of mine that said, hey, right after that other one, there was another one where 5 people got shot. Don't know the exact location. That could have been the one over on Bobby Rush Boulevard.
Palm Street is off of Suncrest Drive.
All right, so I was close.
You were close, yeah, you were close.
Yeah, so I thought I knew most of the roads over there on Suncrest. All right, well, Palm Street, just not familiar with that one.
Yeah.
So, of course, it's been 20 years since I ran the roads over there, so easily forget. Maybe I just didn't know anybody.
Yeah, it's a small little street. Looks like here. Man.
All right. Well,
I didn't know what it was either. It's right off of Brookley.
Okay.
You know.
All right. So Palm Street, 6 people got shot. Not sure where the other one was, but 5 people shot, and I did confirm that with a source at JPD this morning. It was on their roll call board. So that in fact did happen. It hadn't made the news yet. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. I do know that in one of those shootings, a 3-year-old girl got shot.
Jesus, man.
You know.
God.
So that's Sean. So that is, if you're keeping score at home, that's 15. Count them, 15 people shot. And this don't even count random one-on-one regular shootings.
Is this since the daiquiri bar shooting?
This is since the daiquiri bar, or including the daiquiri bar shooting.
Sorry, yeah.
Including the daiquiri. Let's just call it mass shootings. Mm-hmm. There's been 3 mass shootings, 15 people shot, at least 1 dead.
God bless.
How do you only kill one person?
Because you're a bad shot.
I mean, it's
bad shooting, I guess.
I mean, or good. I mean, I don't even know how you do that. I mean, I just know my luck. If I did that, there'd be 15 dead people.
Yeah,
and I'd be looking at mass murder charges or whatever.
And I'm not a huge gun guy, but I do know enough about it. Whereas I remember a lot of those shootings that we deal with once the DA's office would be like somebody would have like a high point 380 and they wouldn't kill anybody.
Oh yeah,
like that's really So like a lot of them, like those street guns, a lot of high points out there.
Well, back in my day, it was Lorson 380s.
Lorson, that's the other one. I'm sorry, I forgot that. That was the other one. Lorson's and high points.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't even an official member of the Southside Posse if you didn't have a Lorson 380.
Yeah, those are all real cheap guns.
Yeah,
and they just don't. Like I remember this one case, we had a victim and he got shot. I don't know, it was like 8 or 9 times, and he drank a whole bottle of vodka and he was high, and we're like, bro, like it was in front of Hamps too, remember Hamps?
Oh yeah,
yeah. And we're like, bro, like how did you live? And he was just like, yep, got shot with a high point.
It used to go up on Tuesday nights, up in the club on a Tuesday at Hamps.
Yeah,
I don't know why I remember Tuesday nights at Hamps.
Oh no, it was there was Malico Records used to be right next to Hamps. Yeah. Remember that? The tornado knocked it out, and so yeah.
Well, I mean, look, what else is there to say about it? Jackson, Mississippi is not a real place, y'all. Yeah. I mean, either I don't even know. Do I want them to stop killing each other, or do I not? Stop killing innocent people. Just start killing the bad guys. I mean, at least let it be community service killings.
Yeah. Community improvement.
Community improvement.
Yeah, community improvement killings. Yeah, I don't know what to. I was working out this weekend, and I was thinking about. I ruck all the time, and I walk around the downtown and Bellhaven, all that stuff. And I was thinking, I'm just walking around this, and this is the per capita murder capital of the country. And I was thinking to myself, like, how did this happen here? Like, this is just Mississippi. It's not like. There's not any real big cities here. It's not, what I'm trying to say? It's like, it's just, it's kind of country, the whole state. It's very rural. And like, I was like, how did this happen?
Do you want me to tell you?
Oh, God. Maybe I shouldn't ask that question.
Do you want me to tell you how it happened?
Go ahead, man.
30 years of far left black Democrat leadership.
I mean,
fathers out of the homes. People can say whatever they want. This don't happen in white Democrat communities.
I think there's definitely social reasons for it. I think I think there's some reasons for it.
There's something culturally. There's something culturally within black Democrat communities. Say whatever. People can get as mad as they want at me saying that. It's just it only happens in their communities. So you got to start ripping that Band-Aid off, tearing that scab off, and saying let's get to the root cause. Kamala Harris loves the root causes of things. You got to get to the root cause of them. The root cause is a lot of these mamas decided to take that government money and kick the daddy out of the house.
You know who I heard say that a few months ago? I was talking to a friend of mine, and he
sold their souls.
He was a black police officer for JPD in the 80s and stuff, and he said he told me that he's like the social welfare programs of the late 60s and the LBJ administration should have had a time cap on them. He's like, because it enabled this to happen. He's like,
a kid cap on them too.
That's what he was saying. There should have been like, you can use this for 5 years, and then so what it's created is what's happened in Jackson. So I thought it was an interesting viewpoint about it. Like that's what I was thinking. He thought had created the problems, the reliance on the social welfare state.
Yeah, it's definitely a start. DarkHorsePressNow.com is reporting breaking news: JPD multiple drive-by shootings overnight in the capital city. So
yeah. We have to. I think it is Clay, what you're saying. I know we like to joke about it, but there's an issue here for sure. And if anybody doesn't see it, I'm sure and there's many causes to it. I think, but I think some of them are what you're saying. Is there a resolution to this? That's the dangerous, I guess, or the sad question. Like, is there a way to fix it? And I just don't know the answer to that.
No. You got to stop it, for starters, and hope that you can salvage the youngest generation.
Yeah.
But the current there's two solid generations right now that are lost. They're not getting them back.
Yep.
They're going to end up dead or in prison or terrorizing the streets till they die.
Yeah. I told you the story many times. That murder case I was working on 15 years ago. And I was out. It was actually that neighborhood that's behind Millsaps. Now it's a lot nicer over there. Back then it wasn't. And this guy we said, yeah, we're looking for, did you see the shooting? And it was called the Memorial Day Massacre. And the guy said, yeah, man, he was old guys like you. And I'm like, oh yeah, how old do you think he's like? You're like, what, 30? And I was about 30 at the time. I was like, yeah. But in the neighborhood, being 30 is old. You know what I mean? Like, being 30 is old because people don't make it. So kind of to your point about the generational stuff, like once you hit your 20s and you're a gangster, you're usually end up dead at that point. You're not going to make it that point.
Well, yeah, you've made so many enemies, and they refer to them as their ops. You've got so many ops out there because you've done 20 years of dirt that you about can't go anywhere. So that's one they got a cap on. The ceiling's low.
Look at all when people read the news articles. Look at people's ages. Like, you don't see, if you see some guys like 35, it's usually like a petty criminal. Like, it's somebody that's stealing lawn equipment or, doing something like that, some kind of property crime. It's not, sometimes you'll see, I saw a couple cases here and there where somebody in their 40s gets killed, but it's just not it's always somebody under 25.
Well, they're the innocent they're the innocent victim at the barbecue or whatnot.
Yeah. So
it's usually like 14 to 19-year-olds,
something like that,
doing the killing. So just to clarify, because I don't like intentionally being wrong, and tell you when I'm wrong. Just confirming the shootings last night. This is from Dark Horse. I wish I could make this bigger. Jackson Police Department has confirmed that 6 people were shot overnight during the course of 4 drive-by shootings in Jackson. I'm being told it was 9. I'm rolling with 9. JPD Detective Tommy Brown said Wednesday morning that the shooting took place at 347 Maple Street Tuesday night. Witnesses in the area describing hearing extended automatic weapon fire, describing it as sounding like a war zone. Brown said there were 3 other drive-by shootings Tuesday night as well. He said more information. See, they may not even be reporting the Palm Street one yet.
Okay. It's on APT.
Well, I was looking at
Dark Horse. Yeah, Dark Horse. Okay.
Yeah.
It's seen on APT, but
APT's reporting the car that they found shot up on Palm Street.
Right.
It's a lot to unpack this morning. Just at the end of the day, a lot of people got shot in Jackson last night. I think the number's 9 total.
And we know where the mayor was. I guess we'll get to that later whenever you want to.
No. Let's do it now. You took the words out of my mouth there. Yep. So the mayor has been silent, and I'm demanding somebody with the city of Jackson speak up about this. Condemn this behavior. Where are the preachers at, Sean? Where's Pastor Pickett stopping the violence? Where's the mayor? Where's all the city council people?
Has the chief said something? I'm sure he will. He usually does.
Hadn't yet.
Okay. But
I didn't expect him to say anything about the one in downtown because that's in the CCID. If he says anything, it's gonna be not my problem.
Right.
But all these other ones are his problem.
Yeah, for sure. I
So
mean,
South Jackson was supposed to be safer once they were able to put some resources over there when the CCID expanded.
and as we've been told by police before, South Jackson is being essentially run by the gangs, and which is just incredible when you think about that. I think though, when you see this kind of crime that's going on and it's nonstop, and then couple that with Angelique Lee's guilty plea last week and the ones that we know that are coming, I'm sure shortly, the state, and this is for Fred Shanks if he's listening, the session coming up has got to look into whatever legal mechanism they can do to take the city over. I think we're at the point where that's a very viable option. I know we've been talking about that for years, and everybody has. I mean, when is that going to happen? And I don't know the legal mechanisms. I'll leave that up to the legislature and what that is. But I don't see how you don't do it at this point.
No, you have to.
Yeah,
you got to figure out a way. I mean, I think it could. Tate Reeves' legacy is going to be an interesting one because he's done some good stuff, and to me right now, but his legacy could be saving Jackson.
Could be. I mean, it's funny that you think about Tate Reeves.
Salvaging it anyway.
Sure. I mean, the water, give one thing.
Saving it for the people who want to take part in a Save Jackson. You're going to have to understand that South Jackson's lost. But if we can consolidate our trash to one area, to just make South Jackson a criminal landfill of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
That's
a great way to put it.
Consolidate it all over there and put a fence around it, sort of. Like a police barrier around it. Like, I don't know why. Like sometimes you stop people going in. This one you stop people coming out. Like, no. You got a grocery store in there. You got some gas stations. It's a drug free for all. I don't know. I don't know what
Escape from L.A.
Yeah,
something like that, right? Kurt Russell's over there in South Jackson on top of cars.
Free range prison.
Yeah, free range prison. Didn't George Carlin used to talk about that? How we should make an island for all the dopers and house burglars and armed robbers.
So. Sounds like something he would say.
Just dump drugs in there.
Well, the mayor's up at the DNC. We need to take a break here in just a second. Okay. But the mayor's up at the DNC, and the city of Jackson. Man, you just talk about zero self-awareness, right? The City of Jackson Facebook page shares these photos of him with Benny Thompson and Maxine Waters and
Mitch Landrieu,
and speaking at some kind of convention, and then speaking at what appears to be on stage at a bar. Yeah. Meanwhile, the city is literally burning to the ground, literally and figuratively, for that matter, burning to the ground. He's got, he's at any moment he's getting allegedly a federal indictment on him, multiple felonies, bribery, everything else. And he finds time to go to Puerto Rico to speak on an integrity and transparency convention for mayors and to the DNC. And
what's funny? It's because I think you and I were talking about this yesterday. He's on first of all, he's trying to negotiate something, it seems like to me. I assume that he's doing that. And he's definitely on a PR campaign because he's been on a PR campaign locally. I can't tell me how many people, and I'm sure you've had the same thing, has said, oh, well, the mayor's gotten away. He's good. I've heard that from at least 10 people that have that rumors. Because I think what he's done is he's running around the community saying, I didn't do anything. They don't got me. They got everybody else. And so he's on a PR tour, that he's going to be okay and all that kind of stuff. So.
That's right. I forgot that Speaker White put together a committee. It's kind of nicknamed the Save Jackson Committee.
Is it?
Shanks is on it as well with some others, and they have a meeting next week. So,
do they really? Great.
Yeah, Fred just texted. So we'll see what comes from that. Amber asked real quick, a little unrelated. She goes, "There's men standing outside on 471 with signs that say honk if you support the workers." I think that's AT&T retail workers are striking this week. I saw that on the news last night. So if it's around an AT&T store, that's probably what that is. The Guns and Gear text line is 769-241-1944. Mazda Jackson phone line if y'all want to chime in. How do you save Jackson? Maybe we'll just make that the background question of the day. How do you save Jackson? What do you do? 601-879-0002. I think we got all of our Jackson talk out the way for now. I mean, we can weave back in and out of it throughout the show, but a lot of national topics to hit. We'll be right back on the Clay Edwards Show with SHAUN YURTKURAN. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. Hey guys, girls, you just heard the Men's Health of Mississippi ad there. Are you looking to lose some weight? They've got it back. The State Board of Health has reapproved it. You got the compounded Ozempic, also known as semaglutide. Can't afford or just don't want to afford the super expensive Ozempic from all these other places. Try the compounded version. Your boy is on it himself right here. I think I've eaten once in 3 days. I'm kidding. I have eaten, but I've definitely eaten less. Get over there, try it. Way more affordable. And, of course, they have testosterone and all kind of other anti-aging things available. So if you've been wanting to try Ozempic, you don't have insurance or your insurance won't cover it, and you definitely don't want to spend $1,200, $1,300, $1,400 a month on Ozempic, try the compounded version. Works just as good, and it is legal again here in Mississippi after them not being able to have it for a year. Text weight loss in any way, form, or fashion, with or without a space in it, capital, lowercase, whatever. Text weight loss to 601-327-8550. 601-327-8550. Just text the word weight loss, and they'll get you set up with an appointment and do a consultation and see if it's what's best for you. Yeah, if you're interested in testosterone, same phone number. Just text my name, Clay, 601-327-8550. They'll get you hooked up with a free testosterone screening today, and I promise you will not regret getting your testosterone levels checked and getting on testosterone, especially if you're older than 30 years old, older than 35 and up, with all the plastics and terrible stuff they got in our foods nowadays. All of our testosterone levels are lower than they should be. I'm shocked when I talk to some people my age and they tell me their testosterone levels were in the 200s. Mine was too. It's just amazing how many of us are when they should be up around 700 or 800 at base level. So get over there and get that checked out. Like I said, I know there's kids in the car, man. If you're waking up without the old morning wood needing to be chopped down, your testosterone levels are probably kind of low. We'll just leave it at that. Text Clay to 601-327-8550. Hey, real quick, speaking of bad stuff in our foods, there's not some food there's not bad stuff in, unhealthy stuff that's causing low testosterone, is Stonington Farm grass-fed beef. They'll be up here Thursday delivering your pre-orders of 100% grass-fed, 100% grass-finished, Mississippi-raised beef. Check them out online at StoningtonFarm.com. That's Stonington with 2 N's, farm.com. Get your order in today for local pickup Thursday. All right, SHAUN. You brought up a great point during the break. I said we weren't going to talk about Jackson anymore on the other side, but Jody is actually being investigated as a citizen, not as a corrupt politician, right?
Yeah, that's my understanding. I think it's easy to get confused. I think we all did initially because he's the DA, so you would think that it was something related to his actions as DA or something, but apparently it's not. And even his attorney, Rob McDuff, released a statement last week saying that Jody was a private real estate investor for like a decade before he was DA. So these are things that he was involved in, I guess, because he owns some property downtown already with that cigar. Well, he doesn't own the cigar bar, I'm sorry, but some property he owns downtown, a building there. And so this was related to that. And I think
he owns the cigar bar. He doesn't own the 4th Avenue.
Okay, Ford, that's what it is, right? You got it. That's right.
Same building.
Okay. And I think that, so that's where I think the confusion is with the public, which is easy because I think we all make the confusion because of his elected position. But if you look at, Kingfisher's got a really good article about this that he posted Monday, and it breaks down the whole Lee plea hearing and what was said. And it appears that Jody was, if you look at the Bill of Information, co-conspirator A, I think that's what he was referred to, and he was present at the dinner when she got cash in the credit card, where the investor said, "Have a great effing time, but don't go too crazy," and she went on that $6,000 shopping spree at I don't know exactly which retails. People have told me, but I don't want to throw anybody on the bus. And Jody also facilitated the $10,000, if it's Jody, assuming that co-conspirator A is Jody. I don't know that, and assuming that it is. the $10,000 to pay off her campaign debt, and I don't know if that's related to signs that she has a problem with or whatever it was, but that was funneled through co-conspirator A, which is the assumption that that's Jody Owens' account, and then was transferred to Angelique Lee, which would make him essentially, if it's him, the bag man, so to speak, or the facilitator, as you said at the break. So I think that would be, people understand that he was involved in the transfer, or allegedly involved in the transfer of money, if that's him, which makes it basically a private citizen bribing a public official.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I think that's a difference. So you have to look at him if it is him.
It's still going to cost him his job.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's still, right. I mean, it just like I gave the example. It'd be like one of us, you and I, bribing somebody, public official to do whatever we want to get, so we can cuss on the radio or whatever. They change FCC regulations. So I think so if you look at it through that context, as a private citizen, just like these fake real estate investors that were FBI operatives or agents are bribing a public official, well, that's illegal to do that. So, and that seems to be the trouble that he's in. Russ Latino had a really good article about this on Friday, talking about, should Jody at this point, if he is co-conspirator A, assuming that he is, resign or step down. I think that's probably a good idea, and I would say it like this: I was working in the DA's office when Bobby DeLauder was on the bench. Judge DeLauder, who prosecuted Byron Della Beckwith, who killed Medgar Evers. So he was a very famous guy, storied prosecutor and then later judge. I thought he took a leave of absence, actually. So I looked it up, or a friend of mine sent it to me. He was suspended by the Supreme Court until there was resolution of the federal stuff, which he ultimately pled guilty and went to federal prison. So I don't know at this point, does Jody Owens take a leave of absence? That probably would be appropriate, I'm guessing, considering the drama that's going around surrounding this. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think he needs to step down immediately. If he knows he's co-conspirator A, you got to charge this to the game. You got to step down. If you know, I know that don't mean necessarily admitting guilt, but if you know there's a way to do it, you say, hey, look, this office is bigger than one person. You can look like the good guy, to an extent. This is the same community that thinks Angelique Lee showed her true character by owning up to her crimes. So the community, there's a bunch of thugs and criminals for the most part in it. They're going to look up to you for stepping down. And you'll have your name. And if you get off of it, maybe run for DA again one day. You should be a shoo-in to win if you're innocent. So I think you step down, take that stress off that office. Those people working there, I don't think it's fair on them.
Yeah, I think it's got to be an issue for the work environment or the office, and also considering we just talked about the first segment, this is the per capita murder capital of the country. There's tons of violent crime, and this is kind of taken away from all that. Like I said, I think at the very least, a leave of absence would probably be appropriate. Now, if he's going to ultimately plead guilty, then he could resign. But he's in the same situation we used to talk about Brian Bailey, where you don't know if you want to give up your position because it's a bargaining chip. And so that's if you're his lawyers, you're telling him not to do that, I would think. But you can't. But Bobby DeLauder, even though he was suspended and didn't voluntarily do it, was off the bench, but still was circuit. I think this happened to Oliver Diaz actually too, where he took a leave of absence from the Supreme Court while those federal prosecutions were on, which he ultimately was not guilty in those things. So maybe that if Jody feels that he's not guilty, that would be the route to go, to take the leave of absence while this stuff is pending and not give up your position. I could see him going that way. I don't know that he's going to do that, but
so with the Supreme Court, there's other justices.
Yeah,
with the DA's office, there's only one DA.
That's a good point.
If he takes a leave of absence, does the governor have to put in a temporary? Do they promote the assistant, one of the ADAs to temporary? Who would run the office? I know they kind of run themselves, their staff and all that stuff. I get it, but the buck has to stop somewhere. And if he takes a leave of absence, where does the buck stop?
It's a good point. You're right. Even with DeLauder and Diaz, there's other judges in Hinds County. There's, at that time with DeLauder, I think Judge Hilburn was already a special judge, so he kind of just took over the docket, I think, at that point, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I don't know what the legal mechanism would be for in a situation like that. I would assume Tate could appoint somebody as a temporary DA. I'm guessing he has that power. I don't know that. Now, of course, if Jody Owens were to resign, Tate does have the authority to appoint the replacement DA. And I think we're at this point now, if he did resign, but even before the November election, because what you have to do is if it's more than 2 years left in your term, as far as I know, then you have to run. You can't just finish the whole term. You have to run the next scheduled election date. So, but it has to be within 90 days of that date. I think 90 days or 120 or 90 days. So he wouldn't. So November would be out. So it would be that person that would get appointed. I'm saying would get a whole another year and have to run in November of 2025.
Yeah,
I think that's right. So so yeah, I mean, if he were to do that, then we get to appoint somebody who would be DA for a year and that could run in next year. So that's an option as well.
All right, just clearing up one thing from the end of the last segment on the Guns and Gear text line. Somebody just wanted to clarify that the AT&T building on Highway 18 is a work center for AT&T technicians. This is not a retail store. The AT&T technicians in the Southeast are renegotiating their union contract, and the talks had stalled. That's why the CWA is on strike against AT&T. Yeah, well, sorry. When I saw the news last night, they showed people protesting in front of an AT&T store.
I gotcha.
So that's where I gathered that from. That's one of those not my clowns, not my circus things there. So, but if you wonder why people are striking, that would be it.
But I think this goes into the whole with Owens, if he were to resign or take a leave of absence. And then what I'm hearing is, obviously, you heard Kenneth Stokes was on the radio last week on Super Talk talking about, Banks is allegedly next, which I've heard, I think we've all heard that. So, I mean, if you get Lee, Banks, the DA, and possibly the mayor, hopefully the mayor, I'll say hopefully the mayor, I would trade them all for just the mayor. But then I think that's when we talk about that committee with Jason White and Fred, where I think you've really got to make some decisions at that point. You're going to make some serious, hard decisions that maybe doesn't make you look good. I mean, you know what the rhetoric's going to be. Oh my God, they're a bunch of racists, but they're not. I mean, at that point, you've got to save the city that's been absolutely destroyed by institutionalized corruption.
It's like I said yesterday, we've let one side dictate the terms for the last 30 years or so, screaming everything's racist if it ain't exactly their way. Well, they have proven their way ain't working. It's time for some adults to step back up and say, look, you can call me whatever you want, just don't call me collect, because your way ain't been working. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. This segment brought to you by Acme Pizza and Daiquiris, located right there, Fannin Mart on the Res. What is it? Wednesday night is hump day. Get over there. Try the Pig, or one of their other 12 different specialty pizzas, 9 different frozen daiquiris. Try the dynamite balls. Maybe you're not in the mood for pizza. They got pasta, burgers, appetizers, and more. But, man, that pig is so good. Fresh smoked pork on site, fresh crust made daily, and 100% real mozzarella cheese. And, of course, they got bacon and Canadian bacon and regular bacon, that's ham, on there, too. It's all cooked fresh on the pizza, so it ain't all dehydrated and dried out and overcooked when it comes out of the oven. That fat cooks down into it. Man, you can't go wrong with that. Check it out today. Available for carry-out, delivery, and, of course, dine-in. Acme Pizza and Daiquiri, 7 days a week, 4 p.m. until midnight. Right there, Fannin Mart, right in front of the bowling alley out there on the reservoir. All right, Sean, I guess we're just going to beat this dead horse a little while longer.
Sure.
Let's read a few Guns in Your text first. Let's read a few texts. Sorry, I don't mean all the ums today. My text machine's going slow, so I'm just filling dead air. Unknown texter. Sinful humans' root cause is good. Sinful humans' root cause is God is not first in any. Sinful humans' root cause is God is not first anymore, and prayer and God has been removed from the fabric of society. Also, the family has been torn apart, contributing to Jackson issues, a corrupt society glorifying violence. What happened in Madison last night? There was a chase. Yeah, there was a chase. Some car going about 100 miles an hour, got its tires flattened by the police, and that's all the details I know. I shared a video of it. Chris Painter posted overnight. So that's all I know. Somebody effed around, and they found out. Yeah, look, man, we all know the answer to this stuff's God, but people, they don't want God's help. It's the problem. They like this. They enjoy this, I call it culturalist society. Sean, did you see Sexy Red's new lipsticks that were coming out? They kind of went viral is the only reason I know.
Sort of. I think you may have sent it to me. I looked at it briefly. Yeah,
and
yeah.
just
I know what you're talking about.
Some of the names of the lipstick colors are absolutely. I can't say any of them on the radio.
Okay.
Any of them. Absolutely disgusting. And this is what they glorify in these communities, or this is what they're told to glorify. And there's a lot of folks that are disgusted by this, but they're not the demographic that they're trying to persuade. It's the Jackson inner city demographic that they just want to keep over-sexualizing, glorifying sex. I saw a picture somebody posted on Facebook yesterday from one of the local high schools or elementary schools or something like that. They'd gone there, and they saw a mama there doing something with her kid. She was wearing some little booty shorts. Mm-hmm. Over half her butt was hanging out the back of the shorts. I mean, this is just the culture in there. It's just disgusting. It's sex. It's violence. And people can talk about whatever they want. I never thought I was going to be the old guy saying this, but it's 100%. One of the biggest parts of it is the music. That the music has rotted their brains out into thinking that this is the only thing. Like, I saw a black guy post this, so I don't feel bad repeating it. He said it showed there were a bunch of people mad that a bunch of white people were at a wedding, like dancing to an NBA YoungBoy song or something. And the guy and people were talking about cultural appropriation, whatever. Shut up. Anyway, he said, the difference in white people listening to this, a bunch of Beckys out there dancing to it, is they're going to go back to their jobs Monday morning, their lives, and they're not going to live vicariously through this song like it's a blueprint to their lives, like it's a how-to book.
How-to book.
He goes, and that's the difference in a lot of black people. They listen to that kind of stuff, and they think it's a how-to book to survive in society. And I hate to be that blunt about it, but that does appear to be what's going on. Is like everybody seems to have to live vicariously through this music, and this music is nothing but about death and violence and drugs and sex and everything else. And it's like at a certain point, I quit listening to that crap. Don't get me wrong. If an old song I used to like back in the 2000s comes on, I'll cut it up. I got a playlist that I like to work out to at the gym, some with a bunch of hip hop on it. But I don't leave the gym thinking, "Where's my Glock? Where's me a chick to go pistol whoop and whoop that trick?"
Or like saying, like in the 80s, we're listening to heavy metal, and remember they used to say it was like some of it was satanic. I don't remember worshiping Satan either.
Yeah, I mean, there's always people that take it too far, but there's a culture problem, and it starts with the music. It starts with what's going on in the home, and I just don't think you're ever going to fix that.
I think though you could have. I think music and culture influences us all to a certain extent, right? Especially when you're younger, like you get into all that stuff. So I could see how it could happen. Is what I guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
I could see how it could happen because you get. I mean, think about it, like, didn't you dress up like the metal guys in the 80s, and or hip hop stuff in the 90s?
Sure, you dress up, you dress up like stuff, but getting out there and living the lifestyle. Point being, you're influenced by music.
Yeah, I think everybody gets influenced when you're young a little bit.
Yeah, but the problem is a lot of these people ain't growing up.
No, I see. That's what I'm saying. It's to your point, like, or maybe it's just gone overboard into because I remember, the cases we'd get, and a lot of these kids would be actually pretty talented rappers. Like some of them really, like there was one song that I remember had a kid on trial, and I kept the song, and I used to play it on my phone, like when I was driving, because it was really good. I mean, and you kind of were thinking, I used to think, God, man, if these guys actually chose a different path, they might be kind of famous because they're really good. But they were celebrating the hell, and they had made a little video like on YouTube. This is like over 10 years ago, and they're all like with guns and money everywhere, and their song was really good. But you're like, okay, guys, why don't you just do the song, but not do the real stuff? And they actually robbed a bunch of people and went to jail forever, blah, blah, blah. The story ends. But if they just stuck to, entertaining, it would have been a lot better for them, I think.
Yeah, they go and they commit these crimes and they rap about it. And they make these videos, and half of them are felons with firearms in the videos. And it's just like, it's too stupid to be stupid.
It's insane. We introduced the song into evidence, if I remember correctly. I mean, it was just the video. And because I think some of it was like the proceeds of the crime, or what, I forget how that worked. It was a long time ago. Anyway, but, I thought the whole time, I was like, God, you guys could be, you guys could be on whatever station and to be successful if you just pretend like you committed the crime. Don't actually do it. Just tell people you did.
Like Dr. Dre and them weren't really thugs.
Yeah, exactly. They're studio gangsters, like studio gangsters. Just be a studio gangster.
It's okay. You ain't no more. That's the problem. The society won't let you just be studio gangsters anymore. It's like your resume has to back it up. It's like if I hear a rock star talking about sleeping with 1,000 women and partying every night, I don't really believe they're doing that. I mean, of course, it's more believable, but I don't need them to actually do that to enjoy the song.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't need a country singer to actually be dealing with a broken heart for me to enjoy his ballad.
No, exactly. I mean, I don't think Robert Plant took a Stairway to Heaven. I mean, I don't know why you have to. Why you have to act it out? Like, just say you did. It's a song. It's art. It's entertainment. Yeah.
It's just like thinking a movie's real.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, these people are so stupid. Let's take a call. Hey, you're on there.
Hey, guys, and that indictment for Angela, was it 3 co-conspirators or 2?
It was a bill of information, which is something before an indictment. You could plead to waive your right to indictment, but I think it was 2. The two conspirators were the FBI operatives or agents. I think they were actually operatives, is what I'm being told. But and then there's a co-conspirator A, which the assumption is that's Jody Owens.
Okay, this is my gut. I got a feeling they're not going to go after Chuck Wade. They'll go after Aaron Banks, and they'll go after the DA, but they will not go after Chuck Wade. That's just my prediction. I think they'll leave him alone.
All right, brother.
A lot of people are saying that. A lot of people are saying that. I just keep wondering if Chuck Wade's on this PR campaign, because I keep hearing this all over town, like he's getting away, and he's, it was a campaign contribution, and everybody's all, this is just the scuttlebutt. I feel like it's him putting that out there, just kind of like how he's at the DNC this week, trying to tell everybody he didn't do anything and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I just have this gut that the FBI doesn't raid the DA's office, go to City Hall, get your phones, all that stuff, and you just, didn't do anything. I don't know. I don't believe that. But
no. Chocolate is going to jail. I'm willing to bet money on it.
Yeah, I think it's his PR, and I think he's very good at a PR campaign because it's spread like a wildfire around town. That he's walking, and everybody else is just going to go, is going, except for him. And I'm like, let's just look at this realistically.
He has to do that to keep the hustle going.
Yeah, to keep that. That's what I was thinking. I mean, I was like, he's hustling everybody with this. And of all those people, who do we assume to probably be the most corrupt?
It's him.
I mean, he's the head of the snake.
That garbage contract is going to come back to bite him in the butt. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what my understanding is. That and the Anthony Fox stuff was the linchpin.
Yeah, for
to all this, and it opened up the people. It opened up the Fed's eyes that there's something going on. There's something rotten in Denmark.
Yeah, I mean, and even look, Kenny Stokes gets some good. I know whatever people think about him, the guy gets some good information. He's been around here. He's been hearing word on the street when we were kids. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he gets on Super Talk and he says, that the mayor Banks, Jody Owens, allegedly, most of the stuff he said has turned out to be correct. Let's put it that way.
Everything we've heard has turned out to be correct, and that includes the mayor getting arrested soon. So we'll see how it shakes out. We'll be right back. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. Guys, when we come back in 7 minutes at the top of the hour, we're going to dive into all the national shenanigans. There's a lot of Trump stuff I want to talk about. I want to talk about the Obama's hate-fueled speeches last night. Michelle's very delusional. Obviously, Barack is very delusional. I'm going to get Sean's opinion on Joe continuing on with the very fine people hoax and more. This is the Clay Edwards Show with Sean YURTKURAN here on a hump day Wednesday. Lots of breaking news all over the place, so we've got a lot to talk about this morning. The Guns of Gear text line, we're going to read some of your more of your texts when we get back. Good show this morning. A lot of content. We didn't mean to spend the whole hour talking about those shenanigans in Jackson, but sometimes, it's just low-hanging fruit, and you got to pluck the low-hanging fruit when it's in front of you. How about cocaine and Donald Trump next? Boom goes the dynamite. Welcome back in. It's hour 2 of the Clay Edwards Show here with Sean YURTKURAN on a Wednesday. This segment brought to you by our friends over at Boykin Contractors in Florence, Mississippi. Boykin can do construction, roofing, remodeling, additions, repairs, work all over the metro. And they work all over the metro area. And, of course, man, I walked outside this morning. I caught that little breeze. I said, woo-wee, this is deck weather. I need a deck, and I'm going to call Boykin Contractors and get me one. You should, too. Look, they got tons of satisfied customers and repeat customers. They're licensed, bonded, and insured with the Mississippi Board of Contractors. It's a Christ-centered company with honesty, operates with honesty and integrity. Contact our friend Bryce Boykin at 601-951-6000. 7336. I know you're not going to remember that, so just go to the old Google or Facebook machine, type in Boykin, Boykin, Contractors, Florence, Mississippi, and boom, you're going to see pictures of their work, read some of their reviews, get their contact information and everything else. That's Boykin Contractors. Also, real quick, don't forget to get out to Guns in Gear for all of your guns, ammo, accessories, Cerakoting, and gunsmithing needs. They got you covered at Guns and Gear. Be telling you more about them here later in the week. I'm going to be out there Saturday for an event they're having. I got to get the details again real quick, but plan on swinging by Guns and Gear this weekend. You know, hang out, shoot the breeze with me and the team over there at Guns and Gear. But more importantly, get out there and buy you a gun and some gear. They also buy guns. So if you got one you want to sell, swing by, check them out. Let them see what they'll offer you for it. And you can shop them online, gunsandgearms.com. All right, Sean, let's shift gears here. Speaking of Guns and Gear, the Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944. Mazda Jackson phone line, 601-879-0002. Sean, I'm on X here.
Yep.
And the left-wing media is just so delusional at times. So the Harris Walls campaign has come out with a camouflage hat that says Harris Walls.
I saw that. Yeah.
On it, and the Rolling Stone, shared a picture of it with some a transgender-looking girl, guy-ish, whatever, doing the Taylor Swift heart thing, and it says, "That's the genius work of this one small bit of Harris Walls merch. The camouflage hat reclaims the rural and southern identity that mainstream Democrats have long ignored. Dems are finally embracing country music fans." Bro, shut up. Shut up.
I mean, at least they're trying. I'm sorry, I can't even respond to that. You know, it's hard.
It's just stupid to be stupid.
It is kind of dumb, you know.
All right, shit. We got welcome to hour 2.
God bless.
Welcome to hour 2. All right.
Just because we made a camo hat, now everybody that drives a pickup truck's going to vote for it. I mean, you know, it's just, I don't know. This world is dumb sometimes.
I mean, it's so stupid. I was trying to think of a parallel, and for whatever reason, it's just Bud Light and the trans cans. It's all that would come to mind. It's like, how'd that work out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking like, just because like you made a camo hat, like some dude that's really pro-Trump is going to be like, oh, you know what now? Guess what? I love Kamala Harris. Well, I mean, I just don't see that happening.
It's like Harley Davidson and all these companies wanting to go woke and do these DEI things and attract more LGBTQ customers and this, that, and the other. It's like when these Americana brands do that, it never works out for them. All they do is end up alienating. Now, I know this is a random camouflage hat. It's not alienating anybody.
Sure.
But it's just the end result is typically the same. Your Harris Walls supporters, I don't see them as the type to run out buying camouflage hats. Now, they may run out and buy one in spite because, you know, this is kind of being a little pop culture phenomenon joke kind of thing.
Right, sure.
And I collect stuff like that, too. Heck, I might buy one just to throw in a box for later because it'll be funny in 20 years.
Like the white dudes for Harris. I figured you got one of those shirts.
Yeah. Stuff like that's funny to me.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, I wouldn't like seriously buy it. But I don't wear hats like that either. Mm-hmm. Like I've got a Trump hat, but I've never worn it.
Yeah.
You know,
just
like
a collector's item.
Yeah, it's on my bookshelf for my videos. Mm-hmm. You know, so I don't know, but let's
Also, like, if your vote is swayed by merchandise from either side, like, you know, I thought it was funny when Trump was like hawking Bibles. I mean, like, if somebody's like, you know, really Christian, like, oh well, he's selling Bibles now, I'll vote for him. I mean, it's the same thing to me. Like, that's to influence your vote.
Great example: the Trump shoes that I bought. Mm-hmm. I didn't buy them to wear.
Yeah.
I bought them because they were a pop culture phenomenon, and they look cool on my bookshelf in my videos.
Right.
I mean, I may wear them one day. I did put them on one day. It's like, all right, they fit.
Yeah,
they fit. But I mean, they got like these elastic gold shoelaces.
Oh, so they're not
that are kind of stretchy.
Yeah, I know exactly what kind you're talking about.
You know what I mean? And I'm worried about messing them up because I don't know where you replace that shoelace at.
Yeah. Like, can you go to eBay?
Because it's shiny, you know.
Yeah,
it's like something like on a ballerina shoe or something. I don't know how to explain it.
I'm sure at Alibaba, somebody in China has already come up with a replacement one.
Sure,
I'm sure they have.
So speaking of Trump, if you guys don't live on X perpetually like I do sometimes in the evenings as I do show prep, you may have missed this. But Theo Vonn, the comedian from Louisiana, most people know Theo Vonn. He has a very popular podcast, and he interviewed Donald Trump. Now, all they've released, as far as I can tell, is this 1-minute clip of Theo Vonn teaching Donald Trump about cocaine, and it's probably going to be the funniest thing you hear today. So kids should be out of the car by now. Otherwise, you may have to explain what cocaine is to your kids. Kids don't do cocaine.
Well, I would just
hold on before we go any further. Let me say this: if let Rick James explain that cocaine is a hell of a drug to your kids. All right.
Well, I would just do cocaine. That was really, yeah. So not just, yeah.
That's down and dirty, right?
Yeah. And it was, yeah.
But you don't anymore?
No, I don't do it anymore, man. And I'm not doing it.
Is it too much? Too much to handle?
Some of the stuff started to get a real rattle in it too. I don't know where we were even getting it from in this country, but yeah, it started to make me feel like I was a mechanic or something.
So the thing you go back to then is alcohol for the most part.
Right, yeah, but what I want probably is cocaine, but I know that if I have a drink, then it'll be like, okay, well, I had a drink, then I can do this.
Is cocaine a stronger,
oh, yeah.
Up?
Yeah. Cocaine
so you're way up with cocaine more than anything else you can think of.
Cocaine will turn you into a damn owl, homie, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You'll be out on your own porch, and you'll be your own street lamp. You're freaking...
And is that a good feeling? Well,
no,
it's a miserable feeling.
But you do it anyway, just like the guy you're saying with the scotch. Like,
all right, that is great. What's sad is, I've done my share over the years. It's been a long time, but I have in fact tried the old cocaine before back in my party days, and well, not my party days, my miserable days, should I say? And it will in fact turn you into an owl on your porch, or looking out your window, breaking the mini blinds.
No comment.
I did not inhale.
I did not inhale. No, never. I've never seen that. I don't know what that is.
That's great. Sean, me and Sean were talking about this last night, and I think it's the first time Sean really realized that Trump has never done drugs.
No, actually, I think I was telling you about that last night. I thought no, I didn't think he ever had really.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, because I've read a lot about him over the years, and his brother Fred had a severe alcohol problem, and so he never drank, or Trump never drank. I was telling you about these politicians that you don't think about that don't drink. Like Bill Clinton doesn't drink. He's never really drank.
I had no idea, because I told you I pegged him as a bourbon scotch kind of drinker.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, he would get it from 042 Wine and Spirits, of course, if he did. Yeah. But yeah, I just vision Bill holding a rocks glass
with a cigar,
definitely with a cigar, with the bourbon in the Oval Office with an intern.
Yeah, absolutely. I always thought that too, and I read that biography, My Life, about 20 years ago, and I was like, oh my God, he didn't drink, because his
married to Hillary.
Yeah, married. You think you need a drink? I mean, you would need a drink if you're married to Hillary, but apparently no. His stepdad, I think, was an alcoholic, and that died in a car crash, something like that, was abusive. So there was reasons. Kind of like with Trump, when he saw his brother, he just never drank. And people think, like you said this last night, like the Studio 54 days, Trump's in Manhattan, shouldn't he have done some cocaine? But I don't think he was involved in any drugs or anything like that.
Well, yeah, you get further removed from it, it kind of makes sense. I mean, he kept it together.
Yeah.
Like, you never heard about the fall. I mean, I know there was businesses that didn't work and this, that, and the other, but there was never a fall and public disgrace of Donald Trump in the 80s and 90s and 2000s and all that. I mean, the guy was constantly going upwards.
Yeah, I mean, no stories about him just being if you have that kind of money, you can use a lot of drugs if you wanted to, and there was not really any stories of Donald Trump partying like a rock star. Now, I think he was always out in the community, social and all that stuff, obviously, but I've never read anything about him, even before he was president, that he was like that. Actually, somebody had a really good I listened to a really good interview the other day on a podcast, and it was somebody that had I wish I knew who this is. It was somebody who was actually left wing, who said that Donald Trump was always, it was Bill Maher actually, who doesn't like Trump, and he said that Trump was always the most gracious person when you met him in person. He said he met him at the Playboy Mansion the first time, and then another time somewhere else, and he said he was always just very nice to people. He said he didn't know where the tough guy persona came from once he started running for office, because everybody kind of in those that ran in those circles said he was just a really nice guy that everybody liked. So I thought it was interesting.
See, I don't think he puts off a tough guy persona. I think that he's just blunt, and we've been so low testosterone in America for so long, and people are so scared of men and being men and standing up and saying what they believe in, that they take that as somebody having a tough guy persona, and they're just so used to these homogenized cuck politicians the last 20, 30 years, and just men in general, that when a man does stand up and just speaks the truth, finally everybody's like, he said it. He did the thing. He's like, he's a man. I don't think he's being a tough guy. I just think he's being a stand-up dude.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess I can see that too. I'm just saying that's Maher's perspective of like his public persona these days versus actually knowing him for all those years, and the way he it seemed like everybody got along with him very well. He was he wasn't an a-hole is the word I got.
Well, I mean, how you being standing on stage being an entertainer versus how you talk in real life. I don't talk in real life like I talk on the radio and in my TikTok videos.
No.
And
we're not sitting at the bar and you're just like screaming, Jackson.
Yeah, I don't think Bill Maher does either.
No, probably not. He's well, I don't know. He's high most of the time. So but yeah, no, I mean, I get it. It was just interesting. I get
what you're saying. But it got me to thinking too that I think we've had a couple generations of weak men. That when you get one that's kind of old school and will get up and just speak the truth, I think it gets misconstrued as trying to be a tough guy. I don't think there's a difference in being honest and being a tough guy.
And there was no
bar set mighty low for what a tough guy is, if that's being a tough guy.
Right. No, I see. I mean, and the other thing is that apparently Trump and a lot of these guys obviously went over. I mean, who wouldn't want to hang out at the Playboy Mansion those days?
Sure.
They all hung out there, and there was stories of Trump doing cocaine off of so I think what I'm saying, I think that podcast is actually accurate because I've never read any story about him acting like that, and that would have came out.
Yeah, you're saying that if there had been stories, you would have heard them by now.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Sure. I think it was kind of like Barack Obama, where if he had cheated on his wife or had all these like affairs, and you'd have heard that because people were trying to get that out there, and you never heard those stories.
We did. Larry Sinclair.
Oh, what was that? The gay thing or whatever you're talking about? Okay, well, I'm not buying that one, but
hold on, why don't you buy that?
I don't think Obama. What did Sinclair say again? I vaguely remember.
Larry Sinclair, he's the one where they had him in town, and Obama was kind of like the gayest. This is all pretty true, man. I'm just going to be honest with you. The Larry Sinclair thing's real. I mean, we ain't going to break it down on the radio because it's a little graphic. But,
I got you. I'll have to look it up again.
There's plenty of stuff out there that confirms Larry Sinclair is real.
Why do I know his name from? Was he famous or something?
No, well, it became famous during the DNC or something. There's a good documentary about it, and it may unscramble your brain a little bit on remembering who he is, but. It was a limo. It was him and Obama, anyway.
Isn't that a story that came out recently and not during his presidency?
They had Larry Sinclair killed, didn't they?
No.
Wait, no. Sinclair's not dead. He was on Tucker Carlson's podcast recently.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, no. They tried to get it out there, but it was held back.
Would that have hurt him with the left being gay?
Well, it would have been.
Oh yeah, I guess at the time he was against gay marriage in 2008.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I don't know. Well, other than that, you didn't hear any stories about him like cheating on his wife or having like other affairs? I've never heard any. I think that would have came out if it had. Other than this story, and that's my analogy to Trump. I think if Trump was a big doper, you would have heard it by now.
Yeah.
No
doubt. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we got a lot more clips to play from the DNC, and Trump did something phenomenal, believe it or not, and shut down a white supremacy claim and owned a journalist all at the same time. It was awesome. I got the video, or the audio, should I say. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. This segment brought to you by our friends at how about Mazda of Jackson? Guys, get over there today. The deals are hot this summer, even as it starts to cool off a little outside at Mazda of Jackson. You already know that, though. Mazda is one of the top 5 most dependable brands out there. And Mazda of Jackson on 55 Frontage Road has hundreds of new and used cars available. The brand new CX-5 crossover rated 9 out of 10 by Car and Driver. The CX-30 and the CX-90 SUVs are both rated 9.5 out of 10, as close to perfect as you can get. They're both in stock now at Mazda of Jackson. Don't forget, Mazdas include a lifetime powertrain warranty. And ask about Mazda of Jackson special financing deals going on right now. It's time to choose Mazda. Mazda of Jackson, located at I-55 Frontage Road, of course, in Jackson. Check them out online, MazdaofJackson.com. Speaking of Mazda Jackson, the Mazda Jackson phone line is hot this morning. Let's take a call here. You're on there. Hello? Guys, let's talk. When y'all call, it sounds like your windows are down half the time. And your Bluetooth's on. I know it's convenient to talk on your Bluetooth. I do it on my car. But I don't call into radio stations. And just cut the Bluetooth off for a minute, roll your windows up, if you're smoking, whatever. And I love talking to y'all. I really do. But this just seems like this happens way too often with phone problems when people call. It's just like the one time that we should have some phone service is when you try to call the radio station. Like, you know where I'm not going to call the radio station? Between Flora and Jackson, because there's no AT&T cell phone service. Absolutely sucks so bad that I think I may take it out on some striking workers. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, it's terrible. I'm not going to try to call on a radio station. So just food for thought. But I love you. I don't even know who it was. Didn't even see the number on the caller ID. Nothing. I'm just saying, be ready. Jameson has a lot less patience for that than I do.
Does he get mad?
Jameson gets mad. I set you up for Radio Gold. And there you go, So anyway, good stuff there.
That's great.
All right. Trump, a reporter asked Trump, he was somewhere in some town anyway. A reporter asked Trump why he came to a town linked to white supremacy. Sean, have you seen this?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, apparently this town has ties.
Is it Coeur d'Alene, Idaho? Or
I'm not sure. I was thinking somewhere in Michigan.
Okay.
Has deep ties with white supremacy, apparently.
They're Democrats. Who was here in 2021? Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
That's good.
So apparently Kamala started that and said Trump was going there because the town had links to white supremacy.
Oh, Lord.
But, of course, Joe Biden was there in 2021.
Yep, it's always a record, isn't there?
Oh, man. That's the kind of stuff that just makes it so nerve-wracking.
Obvious the media's in the tank.
Yeah, the media's in the tank.
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
I don't understand this myth of Trump and white supremacy. I mean... And like Joe Biden get on there the other night, like all the Democrats got, especially it's always the white Democrats that love to link. It's like they just love any opportunity they get to talk about white supremacy and the KKK, both things that are prominently rooted in their history.
It's kind of like I always say, the Democrats, the left, the left thinks everything's racist, the right thinks everything's gay, and for some reason, I feel like both sides are obsessed with those two issues. I don't know why, how that got to that point. Why it is, but it's true. To your point, yeah. I don't know that Trump's necessarily linked in any way to white supremacy or whatever. I think that's just the left is gonna, they're gonna tag everybody that's their opponent as a racist. That's kind of what they do. Like, everybody's racist. Oh my, well, that's racist. And that's what they do. And the right always.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, it's just I don't know.
It gets a bunch of cat ladies and fragile blacks all worked up. People like Brad Franklin and stuff and Chokwe, but it doesn't work.
What I think, yeah, sir.
I'm sorry, that's all I'm saying. It's just it's a failed experiment, and that's why you have people like me doing well, because I've stood up and just said, yeah, you know what, so.
I think the problem that both sides tend to have is that they sometimes think that what appeals to their base is going to get people in the middle, undecided voters, and they're just under the bad misconception that that's going to occur, that what drives their base is just going to get the guy that doesn't care about politics that much, and it's just not. That's why I've said, time again, Trump with the whole she's not really black. Well, yeah, everybody on your side likes to listen to that, but the guy in the middle is like, what are you talking about? He doesn't care. And just like this, like saying Trump's a racist. Well, you know what? Some guy that's worried about inflation is like, I don't know that he's a racist. You know what I mean? And I think that's what I think both sides have a really hard time of understanding, that kind of rhetoric is just appealing to the people that's voting for you anyway. Like, you're not expanding your base by doing stuff like that, and I think that's always a mistake. And but
they realized they tapped the racist bottles empty. So then they went to, oh well, you're all anti-trans. Well, I think most people, realistically, I'm gonna say the quiet part out loud. Most people are anti-trans, and not that they run around hating trans people. Mm-hmm. They're just anti-playing the game.
Yeah, I think most people, if you you took a poll of most Americans, they're going to say, well, I don't think transgender people should, play in sport or, the opposite sex sport, whatever you call it, or use the bathroom. I think most people agree with that. I think that, I think most people, if they're being intellectually honest, are going to say, I think it's a mental disorder of some sort, which it's in the DSM-5 manual, by the way. Yeah. So that kind of tells you, all you need to know there. I mean, that goes back to Clay, just this whole thing. Like, no one in the middle that everybody's trying to fight for those voters is going to vote for Kamala Harris because you call Trump a racist a million times. Just like no one in the middle is going to vote for Trump because you say Kamala's not really black. I mean, that's why I just feel like both these sides don't know how to effectively argue their positions without that kind of talk. But, it's just utter stupidity to me. So.
We're all racist. They're all gay.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. It just never going to end. It's like, how does that affect how much the gas costs or what inflation level we're at or any foreign policy? It just doesn't. It's just like we're children, sometimes. And what, the campaign that figures that out is going to win. That's who's going to win. Who figures that we're talking, stupidity, like Trump's at a white supremacist town, yet Joe Biden was there. And by the way, speaking about Trump, he did say something really nice about Barack Obama yesterday, I thought. He said he's a nice gentleman and that he respects him and his wife very much. And I thought that was a really nice comment on his part. So.
And just to clarify, it was Howell, Michigan. Somebody asked on Bobcat had asked on the text machine, Howell, Michigan, which I don't know anything about Howell, Michigan.
Couldn't tell you.
Michigan's a blue state. I don't know what to say. So, yeah, there's white supremacy in Michigan. It's probably white Democrats.
I mean, there's the only town I know about is that Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. That's the only white supremacy town that I've ever really heard of. That's it. Yeah. But
Jackson's a black supremacy town.
Well, if Chokwe had it his way, what did he say? He said that. That's what he said. He said it's going to make the city less black or something like that. I mean, can you imagine if a white politician said that? I was thinking about that when I read it. I was like, this is just
And that's the thing that I think keeps me so fired up is that for the side that constantly accuses everybody being a racist and a white supremacist, they are the complete opposite of that. They're racist towards white people, and they're very pro-black. And I think I can be pro-white. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You can be pro-black. I can be pro-white. I'm pro my culture. Mm-hmm. Whatever that is. And if it's insulting and it's hard to say what I'm about to say. If being pro-white means I just want to live somewhere safe, is that white culture, just wanting to live somewhere safe and be able to safely go to a gas station without getting shot, maybe be able to go to a bar and have a few drinks without being a victim of a mass shooting? Yeah. Is that pro-white or is that just pro-normal?
I think that, let's say Chokwe's base of voters, I don't think any of them, like somebody that sits at home, lives in West Jackson or South Jackson or wherever, it's like, man, I really want some crime. That's not a criminal. The criminals don't care. But those people, I think Chokwe, what he does is he's a grifter. He grifts off these people. Like he says, oh yeah, I'm super pro-black and that's going to help you out. Rising tide lifts all boats and all that stuff. And then of course there's all this crime. So I don't think people that voted for him necessarily saying, I want crime. It's just the end result of his grifting.
Well, I said this on the show the other day, and I think one of the biggest differences in and I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater on either side here. There's people on both sides that do the complete opposite of what I'm about to say. Mm. One of the biggest things that I see with the black community is and I see it online because of the content I post and whatnot, is there's like this obligation from the majority of the black community to take up for the trashiest part of their community, for the worst of their community. And I'm just referring to the community as a race. Where with white people, I'm not defending white trash. Y'all can talk about inbred white trash, bottom dwellers, all you want. I don't take it personal. I agree with you. I hate white trash. I mean like real white trash, not like Kid Rock white trash. That's fun white trash. I mean like
there's levels.
There's levels to this. Yeah. Like that doesn't bother me. You're not going to hear me defending some meth banging inbreds that are out robbing, stealing, and whatnot. They're getting the effed around and found out grand championship just like the black dude in Jackson is.
It reminds me of the conversation we had about the Jordan Cummins trial when you were explaining to me the different classifications of white trash.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's levels to it. And, I'm not defending white trash, where I feel like some of the best in the black community feel this obligation to defend the Jackson thugs and try to, but it's poverty, but no, they're trash. Stop defending them. It's insulting to people who rise above poverty when you blame everything on poverty.
Yeah, I have a lot of black friends that actually they have the opposite view than that, where they're quietly, they're just like, this makes it so much harder for my kids to do well. Yeah. And these, guys are all lawyers and doctors and Indian chiefs.
And they're the minority, and they exist. I hear from them, too. For full transparency, I hear from a lot of them, too. And I met a fella as we were walking in McBee's the other night for my birthday. Black fella, I won't say his name on the radio. Some conversations are private. But he stopped me, recognized me, and just an older black fella lives in Jackson, really thanked me for what I do. And it is so relieving to meet people like that out there. There's a young fella that's been calling the last week or so, I think from Ward 2 maybe. Really, really good conversations and not taking up for the trash. I was like, you do not have to be your brother's keeper. It ain't the civil rights era no more. We need you to call your brother out and start holding them accountable. And that's the problem. That's why people like Chokwe are able to grift like they are. Yeah. Chokwe is part of the upper crust of society financially, and the way he was raised and all that.
Sure.
He's pandering to the bottom feeders because he needs them to get out and vote.
Yeah, of course he is. I mean, this is a strategy of politicians throughout history.
Yeah,
correct?
Y'all don't have to pander to them. You need to get away from them. The American dream is to get away from trash and to be able to safely live somewhere. And that's the part that I think that really aggravates me with the black community is that you won't call your own out enough, and then I have to do it, and I have to fall on the racist sword to do it because apparently it's just frowned upon to call out a black man that's not doing a good job.
Which is, I don't understand that. Me saying Chokwe is the worst mayor in the history of the city is nothing to do with his race.
Possibly in the last 100 years in all of America.
Yeah, maybe that too. I don't know. It has nothing to do with his race. I think, whether he was white or whatever, or Asian.
It becomes somewhat about his race because he's a race grifter.
Yeah,
But it's not about his race. He's not bad because he's black. It's bad because he's taking black and making it his grift.
Sure. People do use that in a lot of contexts. Race is one grift. Religion, people use the religion grift. Seen that a lot, and that's for lack of a better bipartisan. Where obviously white people and black people use religion grift.
And we've talked about that.
It's the oldest grift in the world, really, right? We talked about that. And this is, you're right. This is just his grift. He is grifting it. It's Ben Crump's grift, right? He's running that, and he's made a lot of money off of that. He's running a grift, And, Joel Osteen, to me, is running a grift,
Yeah, but keeping it local to here. That's why I talk about the things I do. That's why I get up and say the thing. I wish I didn't have to. I was listening to Jason Whitlock last night. He had this young dude on his show, 29-year-old black kid. I say a kid, but from Chicago. That confronted one of these black for a living clowns that has a radio show out of Atlanta up at the DNC. Anyway, I was just like, man, it was so refreshing to hear this young black man talk about the things he was talking about. And I should have had it queued up. I didn't plan on talking about it, honestly. But I was like, we need more of that around here. Where are the folks who are not scared to stand up and push back against this ridiculous culture and these politicians who continue to profit off this culture? But meanwhile, what I see on social media is people defending Angelique Lee, saying, I don't even want to talk about Angelique Lee till I see Brett Favre and Phil Bryant in handcuffs. Well, how about we say, can't they both be wrong?
Yeah.
Can't they both be wrong?
Angelique Lee already admitted that she was wrong. So.
Yeah, that's an indictment against her character, not a sign that she's a good person.
Right.
Let's take a break. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show. We're live here on, you know what it is, WYAB. This segment brought to you by friends over at Pure Air Consultants. For 40 years, Pure Air Consultants has been delivering exceptional cooling systems to Central Mississippi. They want to remind you that consistent expert maintenance on your system improves your indoor air quality significantly. It will also help your system operations improve their efficiency by 20 to 40%. Have an increased useful life and have fewer failures. Be sure to check out the residential HVAC maintenance plan that Pure Air Consultants proudly offers. If you have any questions or you'd like to sign up, then contact them today at mypureairconsultants.com. Ream, a new degree of comfort. man, maintenance is as important as fixing things. You can avoid those expensive compressors going out. You can avoid being on a multi-week waiting list to get your compressors and stuff replaced if you just maintenance your units properly. I mean, don't get me wrong, stuff happens, but just like your vehicle and just like your body, maintenance is required for long-term consistent use. There's your Captain Obvious statement of the day from the Clay Edwards Show. Let's read a couple of your texts real quick this morning. Reagankin agrees with me, says, Clay, no defense for indefensible behavior. Color, present, and past is irrelevant. Thank you. Jess says on the Guns of Gear text line, if they would just focus on their policies and leave their personal stuff at the door, then we wouldn't have this issue. See here, people are sending me some links to some stuff. Unknown texture says, what do y'all, Sean had to leave, by the way, so you got me for the next segment. Unknown texture, what do y'all think about the story about RFK Jr. running mate talking about dropping out and fully supporting Trump? That was actually going to be my next topic here, but I got a video I want to play first of Michelle Obama. Well, again, it's just the Obamas and their hypocrisy is quite interesting. Michelle Obama says her parents were suspicious of people who took more than they need. Keep in mind the Obamas had 3 $10 million plus homes in D.C., Martha's Vineyard, and Hawaii. Now, I ain't hating on anybody for having things, but don't be a damn hypocrite and say your parents side-eyed folks who took more than they needed when your family's very well known for taking more than it needed. Here's her words, not mine.
That anyone can succeed if given the opportunity. She and my father didn't aspire to be wealthy. In fact, they were suspicious of folks who took more than they needed.
As she's taking more than she needs. Again, if it wasn't for double standards, the left wouldn't have any standards, would they? All right, let's see. I am glad you brought the RFK stuff up because that is actually something that I think is really interesting, and I'm kind of curious of you guys' thoughts on it. Do you think it helps Trump? Do you think it in what's considered a close race, too close to call, which I don't believe that. I think Trump's going to be a landslide until they get into the thievery and shenanigans of it all. But in a race that's being too close to call, is RFK's support of Trump the deal breaker? Does that push Trump over the edge? Let's listen to Nicole Shanahan explain what they're debating on right now, either starting a new party or supporting Trump.
There's two options that we're looking at.
By the way, this is RFK's running mate, in case you didn't know who Nicole Shanahan was.
And one is staying in, forming that new party, but we run the risk of a Kamala Harris and Waltz presidency because we draw votes from Trump, or we draw somehow more votes from Trump, or we walk away right now and join forces with Donald Trump and you know, we walk away from that and we explain to our base why we're making this decision. Not easy.
Clearly.
Yeah.
I like that she just outright says that they are against a Harris Walz presidency. I like that a lot. Let's listen to Trump's response here to that.
Can I ask you about RFK? Because just moments ago, his running mate said that they were considering endorsing you. Have you considered him for a role in the administration, and what role would that be?
Well, we haven't, but I would love that endorsement because I've always liked him.
Would you also consider putting him in the administration?
You're asking me a very unusual question. I haven't been asked that question yet. I like him a lot. I respect him a lot. I probably would if something like that would happen.
All right. I like it. Just from a political jockeying standpoint, from political chess, I think it's a good move. I think it's a good move for RFK Jr. I think it's a better move for RFK Jr. than it is for Trump. I think he stands way more to gain because he ain't going to win the election. He doesn't win this. if you were able to help get Trump in there and you get in his cabinet in some position, it just helps you. It helps your political future. I mean, I know he's 70 years old. I don't know how much more politicking he wants to do, but clearly we ain't got no problem electing guys in their 80s as long as they're mentally and physically capable. I don't have a problem with it. I don't think there should be an age limit. I think if somebody's mentally there, physically there, let them do it. If Trump's going to be 84, 85 years old, if he's healthy and, pass all the mental capacity tests and this, that, and the other, Joe Biden couldn't do that. Joe Biden ain't there. Dementia's hell. I mean, he catches up with everybody. So, not everybody, but it doesn't, whatever I'm trying to say, it's blind. It doesn't pick and choose. So, I like it. I think it helps Trump. I think it helps RFK more than it helps Trump. As far as what's RFK going to do if he don't win the presidency? He's not going to, and if Trump doesn't win, he's not going to be in a Biden cabinet. I'm not Biden. I'm sorry, in a Harris cabinet. So I like it. I obviously agree with him on the medical stuff, on the vaccines, all the vaccine stuff. I think that's a big deal, but I disagree with him on a lot of stuff. I would never have voted for RFK. He's a left-wing nut for the most part, but we agree on the vaccines. It's kind of funny. Pre-COVID, I think I used to kind of look at the anti-vax people as all left-wing nut jobs. Now, I was wrong because I've met a lot of good people, Mary Jo Perry, her team, all that stuff, and like-minded individuals who are far from left-wing nut jobs that are, I hate even the term anti-vax, but it's just a catch-all here. So I've learned a lot since COVID about vaccines and the kind of people who have been fighting that fight for a long time. And, man, the way the media portrayed those people is malicious at best. We'll be right back. Land the plane for the day. Welcome back in to the last minute here of the Wednesday edition of the Clay Edwards Show. I want to thank SHAUN YURTKURAN for joining. Be sure to get out and support these great sponsors at lunch today, whether you're in if you're near the town of Livingston out in Madison County, hit up Martin's out there. Of course, Martin's downtown in Jackson, Mississippi. Great blue plate lunch at both places. What about Burgers, Blues, Barbecue? Got 3 great locations to serve you with them, too. Right out there, downtown Madison, downtown Brandon, and right there in Dogwood, out there in Flowood. Again, great plate lunch specials and a ton of great menu items and their world-famous burgers. Appreciate you guys. If you want to catch any of this, I'm going to get over into the podcast room, get it all edited up, get it loaded up. Just search Clay Edwards Show. Should be up there by about 10 a.m. Don't forget to download the Kim Wade Show. Also, see you tomorrow.